Hello guys, good morning. I just had a few thoughts, ongoing really. I mean, it did occur to me that I cover the same ground one way or another many times in my videos, and that is because this is an ongoing journey, and it is essentially about the same thing. It's about freedom and it's about truth. It's about the reset, which is the annihilation and the neutralization of evil. And to that end, we go through this process, and it's as if we meet the same demons and devils and darkness over and over and over again as we journey inwards. So that is why I cover the same subject matter. I try and, share with you just as I go through it myself and what I find and how I feel about it, basically, people. But one thing that's coming up very strongly for me now is, how can you know what you want if you don't know who or what you are, right? I mean, if you look at sort of motivational speakers at these seminars, or you look at the New Age, or any of that type of shit, or the law of attraction, and it's always about, well, what do you want, and you know what you want, and it's what these people want, or what they think they want, it's always material. When that book came out, The Secret, it was all about, well, I want this big car, and I want that, and I want, it's always material shit, and it's always about, well, I want my neighbours to look at me and envy what I've got. I want to inspire envy in other people. It's pure evil. How can we know what we want? Well, here's the thing. When I sit down and I start thinking about what I really want, and I really go down that narrow path, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower as I venture forth on that path. Because at first you might think, well, I want, I want better health, and I want more money, and I want this or that. But then you realise that actually, that wouldn't really work for that reason, or that really wouldn't work for that reason. You could think, well, I'd like a nice big house and plenty of money, but that wouldn't work, because you'd still be living in a world which is utterly evil and dark, and where everything and everyone is suffering. So that wouldn't be any good. I've thought about it, and I've thought about it, and I've felt about it, and ultimately, what I really want is, I want freedom, truth, and true well-being. And I want my magic back. And I want that for all true souls, if they want that too. I wouldn't want it for a soul who doesn't want that, who wants some other type of experience. It is not up to me at the end of the day. But I want it for myself, and I would want that for all other souls who also want that. I would say that, the Green Wizard would want that. I would say that various other people I know well would want that. Freedom, truth, and true well-being, and to have our magic back. We want to remember who and what we really are, I think is fair to say. Because we've been operating, and it's interesting because I got an email from a good friend in which it's very obvious, obviously, to my friend as it is to me, that we don't know who or what we are. We might have some nuances, some feelings about that, but we don't trust those nuances, we don't trust those feelings, we don't trust the dreams, and we don't trust the insights. We don't trust ourselves, we don't trust this experience, we don't trust that the light is more powerful than the darkness. Because we are all existing in the trauma trap. The trauma trap, where everything is slanted toward the negative. Everything is forever, it seems, circling the fucking drain. And our identity is bound up in that experience. So we experience ourselves as powerless, as worthless, as having to continually prove our worth. And we have to do that in a system that is a prison, obviously, and that was designed by something for us. We are put in it, we are born into this prison, this system, and we have to prove that we deserve to exist. We have to work hard, and we have to pay our taxes, and we have to obey all the laws, and we have to do as we're told, and we have to be nice, and we have to pretend, we have to do the whole Coca-Cola ad thing, right? Just a minute, guys. My son. It's okay. Come here. Don't go on there. There you go. So, you know, and for most of us that doesn't work very well at all, because it's like wearing a pair of shoes that are several sizes too small. It fucking hurts, and it never works, and we can't walk right. We can't walk properly, we can't function properly in this system because we're not of it. We don't really belong here, I feel. You know, I was watching Missing 411, The Hunted again yesterday. I like to revisit that movie. It's David Paulides, or Paulides as you say in America. Missing 411. It's very good stuff. And toward the end, he speaks to a woman who's a hunter. I'm no lover of hunters, I have to say that as well, and I absolutely despise trophy hunters, but that's neither here nor there with regards to this. This woman is sat there in a blind, as they call this, with her bow and arrow, waiting for prey, and she sees this apparition. It's a being. She said it looked like Saram Wrap, i.e. like a mirror image, a bit like you know, like the Terminator or something. Not the Terminator. What's that film with these creatures? You know, Arnie is in it. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in it, and these beings, they can make themselves almost invisible, but you can see the shimmer of them. It's like that. Many people have seen these beings, by the way. Not just this woman. This type of thing comes up many times. I've done a lot of research into these types of things, and this creature seems to come up a lot. And there's a sense of menace, you know, you feel a sense of menace from it. Anyway, she had a BlackBerry phone, and she tried to take a picture of it, and did take a picture of it. And her husband, who works with phones, is some sort of technological guy who knows about this type of shit, and it works out that her phone took a photo, which was all blurred, haha, that it could not possibly have taken. The format of the photo could not have been taken by the phone. It was all weird. So the laws of physics, such as they are, were not there. And it made me think a lot. This whole Missing 411 thing has made me think a lot anyways, as well as all the books by John Keel have made me think a lot. All the stories that go way back of the jinn, or the kami, as the Japanese refer to them, these beings that come in all these shapes and all these sizes and have all these amazing powers that come into our reality from somewhere else, or perhaps exist here, or who knows, whatever. And humanity is somewhere here as well, but we are stunted and exist in the trauma trap, which is on a daily basis reinforced by other people. People traumatize each other and keep each other trapped, or so it would seem. Of course, there's much more to the picture, but you know, NPCs, mundane reality enforcement troops, but the whole system, local councils, you know, local governments, and then regional governments, and then the country's government, and the world government, and then all these. This is such a big thing, and this goes way back. And the truth is that we simply do not know. We have fragments. We have giant animals and giant people cast forever in stone. We have giant trees that, you know, these are amazing. These are so big, these trees, that they can't possibly have existed on a small ball that floats about, you know, in space. So I do not believe the Earth is round. I've not believed that for a long time now. This is a realm. Nikola Tesla said that. This is a realm. And we are, as far as we know, human, and we live in these meat suits, and we have been traumatized to the max. There are beings that have powers that can seemingly mess about with the electromagnetic nature of reality, but we seem to have lost that ability. Well, some of us have. That is, my grandfather could do it because he could move things with his mind, and he could read people's minds, and he had a vast array of abilities that were frankly incredible. And my father also had some abilities, and I seem to have some abilities, though I can't move anything with my mind. The more I've awoken, the more my abilities have come up to the surface, and I expect that more of that will happen. Here's the thing, I think all soul travelers have these abilities, and I think it is an indication as to who and what we really are. I think we are magical beings. But we seek to survive, and many of us actually seek to thrive in this prison, in the matrix, because we've been given to believe that, well, in order to be worthy, in order to be valuable, and to prove that you deserve to exist, you need to thrive. You need to thrive. But I don't believe that that is our destination or our purpose. I don't believe that at all. Because if we were to thrive in the prison, we would simply give up the quest. We would be comfortable and at ease. And we are not meant to be comfortable, nor are we meant to be at ease in this prison, because this prison is a goddamn abomination, and it needs to be discarded, it needs to be annihilated, it needs to be destroyed, it needs to be neutralized, it needs to be no more, basically. So we are here on a quest. Now that, in a sense, is our identity, but it's vague. We don't as yet, because we are in the trauma trap. The trauma trap is like existing in the hinterland of some unknown place. You don't know how you got there, and you don't quite know what it is or who you are. Everything is vague, everything is distorted. You look in the mirror, you see something weird, and ooh, that would be you, but you don't recognize yourself. Everything we've been told is a goddamn lie. Everything this world says is good and wholesome and valuable is ugly and putrid and valueless. Our values, what we think we are, what we think we want, where we think we might be going, what this is all about here, is just all wrong, people. It's all wrong. We're not here to thrive as such, because this is an abomination. We're not meant to thrive. Nothing can thrive here unless you literally sell your soul or walk away from yourself or divorce yourself in some way or another. I talked about it in my last video. It's all about money. But I need money to survive. I need money for this, I need money for that. You're right, it's true. The constant fear. This is the main motivator in this realm. It's true that some people are motivated by passion and by love. I'm not saying that there is no such thing. There are people who create incredible, beautiful things. True. But not everybody is wired that way. And to be honest, that exists mostly for me, it seems, on the external as a mundane reality reinforcement factor. Saying, well, look at those people and look at those people and look at them and look at her. They do really well, they get their shit together, because the matrix doesn't want to die, and it keeps telling you that, well, why don't you thrive? What's wrong with you? You should be making money, you should have your own business, you should look like this and you should be like that. And just go along with it and accept that this is all there is, this is how it's meant to be, and it is good. Which a true soul traveler knows is a complete and utter lie. We know the truth. So no, we're not here for that. And so I think it behoves us perhaps to get to terms with that fact. However, We are here. We are on a quest, and to that end we could well find ourselves in a position to be of service, to provide a service to other souled beings on the quest, in the form of, I don't know, readings or healings or any of that. And it's perfectly okay to charge money for that, by the way. We shouldn't have to do it all for free. That's ridiculous. Everybody needs money to live on. I'm not saying that that is right, but it is what it is, people. So for some soul travelers, they have found their niche in that sense. Some soul travelers, you know, you work on building sites, you work in shops, you do jobs you absolutely hate, but even within that context you'll find that you have conversations, or that your energy, your vibration, but your energy, your presence has an effect on the field. It's the nature of you, and you will have noticed that. Now that is your identity. You see, your identity does not lie in what you've got, in what you look like, how beautiful you are, or something like that, or how much money you have. That is what you've been given to believe by this fake world, the Coca-Cola ad. Oh, it's all about what you look like. It's all about what it looks like. Never mind that it's a pile of rotting corpses right behind the scene. Yeah? Now, in our essence, we are wholesome, and we are powerful, and we are light, and we are magic. I feel this with all my being. I could be wrong, right? I cannot say that I know it. I can only say that I feel it deeply, and that would be the truth. I see this because of my journey. For me, what I've been through, you know, it's very deep, and it's really beyond words. I can't really put it into words, but I think that any soul traveler knows this. You've experienced your true identity, your true essence. When I say identity, it's almost like something like a label on a box. So forget that. Let's call it essence, yeah? Because essence is more fluid, and essence is infinite. And we are infinite beings. I feel that very strongly. So we are not limited, and we are not labeled, and we don't need a label or a name or a designation. We simply are, and we are infinite, but we are here, and we're still working out what this place is. We're still working out the nature of this reality, which is actually a magical place. It's magical in a good way, but it's also magical in some seriously nasty, evil, dark way. Mundane reality is a lie. It has been imposed upon us, and it's been done through using trauma, and we are stuck in a trauma trap. That is what blinds us, and it mutes us, and it throttles the life out of us. The trauma trap is we have been through some seriously nasty, horrible shit. We've all been MK Ultra'd, basically, and time again we've been told, it's been driven like a fucking nail into our skull with a hammer, that this is all there is. Mundane reality. You're born, you live, you die, right? You eat, you work, you pay taxes, you watch Netflix, you obey the law, you do as you're told, you toe the line, you don't ask any questions. That is your identity, that is who and what you are. i.e. worthless, powerless. You exist as a battery, because that is all that is. That the system needs that. That is what the system is. It is the matrix. And you've known that your entire life, one way or another. You've had your successes, no doubt. You've had your ups, you've had your downs, but within that has all been within the system. That's it. Now that is all a complete and utter lie, and it is the Coca-Cola ad, people. That is not what we are. That is not our essence. Our essence is infinite. But we live in a world in which some really strange, weird shit happens. It is magical. And if any of you should happen to have Amazon Prime subscription, or you could just buy it actually, it's Missing 411 The Hunted. It's very good. There's a bunch of guys who used to go up to the mountains, the Sierra, in Sierra Nevada, I think, or something, back in the 70s, and they recorded a shitload of weird things that happened there. There are many strange things happening here. This clearly is not a mundane reality thing, but you know, the magic has been taken away from people, from humans. Not from all of us. Some of us have that in our bloodlines. We have that. And I find for a lot of soul travelers, we have abilities, you know, and they'll become more and more pronounced. They will return to us. But the trauma trap is what constitutes the ball and chain here. It's so I began talking about the email I was sent by a fellow soul traveller, and he said, you know, a baby elephant is tied to a post in the yard and left there, fed and you know, looked after, but tied to that post. And by the time the elephant grows into adulthood and is strong and big and powerful, it will stay there. It doesn't realise the power that it has to walk away and do whatever the fuck it likes, really. It's like they say with a canary in a cage. It's been there its entire life. You can open a door, but it will not fly out. You see? That is what's been done to us, and we need to understand that and recognise that. We've been chipping away at the trauma trap in order to release ourselves, but it is a bit of an arduous thing, because it's coming from within. So Mars is in retrograde and it's about to square up with Saturn, and Saturn in a way is the symbol for all of this imposed limitation. If you look at Saturn from the dark side as the powers that be and the forces of evil who have done this, we don't even know who the forces of evil are, right? Many people talk about the Archons. I rather think it's a bit more complex than that. I think we have many different players, right? You know, but it's like Charles Ford said, you know, he was a fortune researcher at the beginning of last century, and he said, I think we're owned by something. Well, we don't actually really know what's going on, but we are certainly like that elephant or like that canary in the cage, the trauma trap. It's what keeps us from accessing our quantum nature, people, our magic. Trauma is the gateway, and I feel that with all my being. And so Mars in square to Saturn. See, Mars is us, the I am, our true essence, in a way, alright? And it's saying, I want to be, I want to know who and what I am. I want to know what this place is that I find myself in. I want to know that evil's going to be defeated and that we're going to be alright and that we're going to be free. And we're going to have truth. We need truth before we can be free, I dare say. That we're going to have true well-being. That we're going to be free, free. We don't even know actually what that means. But that is what Mars wants, right? It wants to know its identity, its true self, its essence. And Saturn is the trauma trap, people. Saying, no, you know, there is no such thing. Better stay in the dark, expect the worst, be afraid. It's the only way to stay safe, and, you know, no. We already know we're not going to do that, because that is just fucking agony. We've lived in agony our entire life. PTSD, MK Ultra, bullshit nastiness, whilst pretending everything is great, and let's go and buy another pair of shoes and go to the wine bar with Stacy and Gary and, you know, fake fucking friends. Have these banal, ridiculous conversations about mundane reality. It's all fake and it's all bullshit, people. But it's been imposed upon us from day one. And it was imposed upon our bloodlines. Trauma, 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 trauma. Appalling. For some reason I was watching The Fall of the Roman Empire. It was just a film from the 60s with well, anyways, there's some people in it that I can't remember the name now. And yeah, it's all there. I mean, the Roman Empire did exist. I don't think it was as long ago as they say. I think they've messed about with the times and the timelines and the different... The reality is like a jigsaw that's just been broken apart and there's bits scattered everywhere, and it doesn't actually make any sense chronologically whatsoever. And like I said, we have giant animals turned to stone, giant people turned to stone, giant fucking trees as big as cities turned to stone. That's all there. But there is also some evidence of a Roman Empire, which did diabolical fucking things, that cut down swaths of forest, that no doubt traumatized people. They did terrible things to the Gauls, absolutely horrific things. You know, and of course people then were so traumatized, trauma became the norm, and they in turn did that to other people. The Europeans went all over the world and did unspeakable things to other people, you know. And we do that now habitually to each other. The trauma trap, it has many different faces, many different guises, and I know I'm babbling on, going here and there again today, this morning. Sorry guys. It's because I don't script, so I tend to lose my tact quite easily. But you know, it all comes down to the same thing at the end of the day, people. We know this. There are so many different nuances to this trauma trap that we are in, and yet we must be aware of it, and we must also be aware that we will do anything to break out of it. And I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel it strongly, I feel that Mars square to Saturn is what that is all about. The essence, our true infinite essence, our true infinite self saying, enough. Enough of this small, broken thing that I've been pretending to be, that I was forced to pretend to be. Enough already! I mean, I can feel the rage of it. It's the greatest unspeakable abomination. Part of the trauma trap is the guilt, you see. There's a lot of white guilt. White people on the whole feel really, really bad. We all feel that way. It's like the Germans still feel really, really bad about World War II, even though young people in Germany had nothing to do with it. And a lot of white people feel really, really bad because white people went to Africa and did unspeakable things, and they went to America and they did unspeakable things, and they went to New Zealand and Australia and they did unspeakable things, and they went all over the world and did unspeakable things. And we all blame each other. Oh, your people came over here and did this. And it was like, well, I wasn't there, so it wasn't my fault. But you know, all this shit, Black Lives Matter, you know, we're all being used to foment the trauma trap over and over and over again. And we must, as soul travelers, stop doing that. We must deal with our trauma, such as it is. We must go within and deal with that. We must look at what we do, how we exist here. We must look at how that makes us feel. We must learn to pay attention to the effect that we have on the world around us. Why is it that people look at me like that? Well, they do because they know that you are not of this place, that you are not an NPC, you're different. And they recognize you as a foreign agent, and that in itself proves to you that your essence is different than theirs. There you go, see? We're not here to get rich or to be beautiful. This is another thing that happened to me a couple of days back. See, this is how the deepening happens, the going within. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and you have more awareness and understanding how this world is all about looking good, being beautiful, having the perfect body and the perfect face. Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Look at me, I'm so beautiful. I look like fucking Barbie. And then you get to my age, 53, and you lose your looks. Your looks just, they go out the window. Especially when you're suicidally depressed every day, when you don't get much sleep. When you have health issues, all par for the course, one way or another, in the awakening. Right? Because that is what this place is at the end of the day, people. Right? So your looks go out the window. And because that is not another part of the Coca-Cola ad, you see. It's like, well, look, I'm beautiful. I'll cling on to that. Because I have nothing else, I have no substance, right? And I exist in a state of PTSD and trauma, but I can cling on to the fact that I'm good looking. I'll hold on to that and use that as a deflection. Or I have loads of money, I'll use that as a deflection, you see? So Gradually all of that is taken away from us, one way or another. And it has to be, Pluto, you see, that's what Pluto is all about. It takes it all away from us. It says, right, I'm taking that, and I'm taking that, and I'm taking that. And you're thinking, I'm being tortured, I'm being tortured. And in a sense, I suppose it is like torture. It feels like torture, but it has to be taken away. Because the illusion of being well and of thriving and of everything being A-okay needs to be shattered, because it is not. It is the Coca-Cola ad. See? So Pluto comes at the Coca-Cola ad with a massive fucking meat cleaver and says, well, I'm going to destroy that motherfucker because it's a fucking lie. You all need to stop living a lie, you soul travelers. This is not home. We don't belong here. We do belong here in the sense that we came here to bust this shit. To sort this shit out. Yes. But the trauma trap says, oh no you don't. No you won't. You won't sort this shit out. Evil always wins, and there is nothing you can do. Ultimately, darkness will win. You're trapped here forever and ever. It's all the dreadful, heavy, heart-pounding fear at its essence is what the trauma trap is. It's pure, undiluted, heavy, heart-pounding fear. It's so heavy that you're unable to walk. You're literally like, That is how people really exist. That is at the essence of people in this realm. It's at the essence of nature. It's in the soil. You can stick your hands in the soil and you can feel it. It's everywhere. Fear. Like that. We have to face all of that. So Mars square Saturn is going to be about the true self. Our true essence. More of that will come up. And be revealed to us, but before that can happen, we have to also face the trauma trap. That which seeks to keep us trapped forever in this evil nightmare. And I feel strongly, of course, that it's like a battle. And the forces of light versus the forces of darkness facing off. So we will need courage for the week ahead, and tune into our true essence, even if we're not clear, and we're not going to be clear about who or what we are and what this is, what's really going on here. Why doesn't it fit? Reality doesn't fit, you see. It doesn't fit at all. I have a few subscribers who are very knowledgeable about all of that and sent me great links. And there's some really good channels that you can go to, and books that you could read. There's a guy called Michael Cremo, C-R-E-M-O, who does some really good research, but there's lots of people. And you start looking into extreme human antiquity alongside giant stone people, giant stone animals. You start looking into all of it and you realize none of it makes any sense at all. The host of strange characters that come in and out of this reality. Bigfoot, Yeti, you start looking at the Dyatlov Pass incident, you start looking at the missing 411, you start looking at it all, and it don't make no sense, people. Start looking at history, start looking at the gods and the goddesses, and then you start looking at humans. And there definitely is a need to investigate and research all of that. Because the external is part of the internal, there is a connection. But ultimately, the power and the truth and everything that we need to break this thing apart, to establish truth and freedom and well-being lies within us. But the journey goes out and comes back, and goes out and comes back, and goes out and comes back. Deeper, 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 higher, higher, higher. That's it, people. And all I can ever do is talk about how I feel, because I can never say I know this and I know that, because that is left brain. That is of this world, where you have the scientists telling us it's like this and it's like that, and they're so full of shit, it's unbelievable. These people don't feel anything at all. You see, they're dead. All we can do is feel. And that's another part of the trauma trap, is to live in a left brain paradigm, and it's stunted and it's twisted and it's fucked, dysfunctional. We need to gradually move out of that and into the right side of our being, which is flow, which is, I feel, sense, and I think I'll go and do that over there, it works out. Left brain, no, don't do this, doesn't work out. There's so many different nuances to this, and it's everything to do with who and what we really are, as opposed to what we were mind controlled to think we are, which we are not. We are not that. We are this, and we are more. We are something that can never ever be put into words, I feel, because how do you conceptualize infinity? You can't. In fact, most of us can sit down and think about infinity, and it actually scares us. It scares us. We're so familiar with ending, death, the end. It gives us comfort. It gives us comfort because we're so severely traumatized that every day of our life we probably think, I wish I could just die. There are days where I feel that way. Because it's like, this is not going to be alright. I don't see how I can get through this. I feel so trapped in the trauma trap. I can't imagine how anything can ever be alright again. It's getting darker and darker and darker, and I'm more and more depressed, and I feel like absolute shit every day. I can't imagine how to stay in the light. I can't imagine how to feel better. I try very hard, but I can't manage. All of this is the trauma trap, people. They then teach you to beat yourself up over feeling that way. Kicking a dog when it's down. It's just pure evil. A liberation will come. A key that will fit into the lock, that massive, nasty black door to the trauma trap that will open that. And it's all part of the black diamonds. No, it's there now to be open, to be exposed for what it is, and there will be truth. There will be blinding insights and breakthroughs now. Because Saturn is going to be moving into Aquarius. And we shall see what happens. Of course, Saturn rules Aquarius as well as Uranus. So we shall see what happens. Truth, freedom, well-being, magic, infinity. We deserve to get out of this trauma trap. But it's only us that can make that happen. But we can't force it through. We can only do our bits and be ready to look at what needs to be looked at, to feel what needs to be felt, to pay attention, work through it as best we can, stand our ground, stand in the light as much as we can, which is very difficult sometimes when it concerns Saturn, because it really does bring up the deepest, densest, darkness, and it's the kind of stuff that just takes away, you just feel like you've lost the will to live, because you realise beyond the shadow of a doubt what this place is, and you're surrounded by people who haven't got a clue. They think it's wonderful. You see, we have to know it all. All shall be revealed. Now, when the truth is revealed, as it has been by degrees, more and more, it's going to hurt like hell. Really bad. It's like, the only way out is through. Yes. I feel victory, triumph, breakthrough, breakout is inevitable. It is what we are, it is what we do, I feel. But the trauma trap and all that business there will tell us the exact opposite. It will tell you that you're trapped here forever. It will give you all these really, really dark, horrible imaginings. And it will no doubt facilitate that with people on YouTube and on the external that will say, oh yeah, it's really, really bad and we're never going to get out of here, and evil always wins, and ooh, all the predictive programmers, and oh yeah, they're going to do this and they're going to do that and whatnot. So stay away from that, people, because it won't serve you. Nourish yourself, be kind to yourself, be loving, and conserve your energy. Stop giving your energy away. Don't do that. For the next few months, we need to really go within, right? And to really, and I mean really, stop giving our energy away to the external. Don't do it. It's like a ravenous beast, and it wants you to remain a battery. We are going to need our energetic resources for, you know, the couple of months ahead of us now. So we need to practice self-protection and to keep our energy for ourselves. It's as simple as that. Right, that's it for today. Meow!